In the hizzle, all for shizzle dizzle. We got an excellent show here today. We got the lovely Michelle Rollins, and we're doing Fitness Friday. So, what we're going to do, this is a new segment. We go through how would you say that, Michelle? Like physical
I just
fitness
when I
journeys?
talk to people, I just say my health and weight loss journey because that's what it was.
Okay.
It was both combined.
Okay, good. Okay, so right, all this, so basically all this was together, the
Yeah,
weight loss and all that. Okay. And we're gonna get to the slides in a minute. So um can you tell us, because from the pictures you showed me, I mean, I was like, wow, I was like, yeah, I did not know that. I mean, whoa.
yeah,
What you want to start showing off? Let's just show the picture. And you describe, because I guess we have to start from there. Because yeah,
yeah. You can start. The first one to show the difference between where I started in 2017,
okay.
and then that was a year later. Not quite a year later. I can't remember how many pounds I had lost by then. I know it was way over 50, maybe closer to uh, 80 or 90, closer to 100 than it was 50 by that time. I went from a size, I think 26 to there. I may have been a 12, I think, a size 12.
Yeah, you look like a completely different person from 2017.
Yeah, and that was
Okay.
September, and
That
that
was September. Okay.
from September 2017 to July 2018.
Okay, so okay, we got picture one.
The first picture that says September 2017, that was just before I really started my journey. And
Okay.
then July is as I began to change my life or whatever, I started taking pictures to kind of document my progress and see where I was. And because in the middle of changing my lifestyle, people were saying, "Well, you losing a lot of weight." But at the time, because I was big so long, I did not see the progress. So I was advised through my doctors and my nutritionist to take pictures along the way so to
Hmm.
stay encouraged and because sometimes we get on the scale, we focus on the scale. The scale may
Right.
not move because you're building muscle. I was working out, doing different things. So sometimes the scale seemed not to move. But then I put on a dress that I had on 2 weeks ago, and it was literally the skirt was literally falling off.
Okay.
So I
Wow.
start to try to, um, try to get my progress or take pictures so I can see my progress.
Okay. Yeah, I'm yeah, you look like a whole different person. You look like a different person.
Yeah, I
Wow.
felt like it. By that time, because before I had stage 3 kidney disease. I was put on
Wow.
a third blood pressure pill because my blood pressure had gotten where it was out of control. Could not
Right.
control it. By that time, Um, I no longer had to see the specialist for my kidneys. I think by then, I was down to one blood pressure pill. I hadn't completely gotten off of blood pressure pills at that
Right.
moment. But it's
Okay.
some more, that should be a slideshow, but it's quite a few pictures where you can see the different parts of my journey.
Okay, well, if you want to share some more slides, just I guess that
I
same
don't,
process. Yeah.
okay, just, uh, I don't know how to make you able to see the screen, but
No. Yeah.
okay,
Oh,
there it
wait
is.
a minute. Okay. So
That was,
slide.
and you can't see. Okay, this
This was
here
kind of
is, and it's gonna go back and forth. I got to figure out how to do the screen share, but that is on the smaller side. That was before I even gained the weight. That was like the process,
right.
so you can see the difference in my body and all that. My face before the weight loss,
Mm-hmm.
before the journey. That was the trip that April, I think it was, or May before I started. I started my journey in October. That
Mm.
was November, homecoming. And like I said, I was taking pictures. Now this was the beginning, and this was 2020. I think I was at my smallest. I was wearing, I think I
Okay,
was,
so this is a big jump. You're doing a big jump here. So I
yeah,
see.
and the reason
Yeah.
I'm showing where I start, and there's journeys, there was progress pictures in between.
Hmm.
This was the beginning. Like I showed, the first one was 2018. This is 2020. It took, I lost a total of at one point 135 pounds. So it took a
Mm.
little over a year, about a year and a half, close to 2 years. And
Okay.
at my smallest on this picture, I was down to 143. And you know, I'm 5'9", so I'm going to look a little smaller than
Okay.
what the scale weighs. And I was a size 4.
So okay. Okay.
So yeah, it was some differences in there. Now again, my smallest weight, and I looked like a completely different person than I
Right.
did before.
Okay.
And because of that, I was able to do some things. I don't know how to get this off the screen. Um,
You want to get that off the screen?
yeah, you can
Okay.
remove that off the screen.
Okay.
And maybe
Okay.
when we talk about some other things, I can show other pictures of things that I was able to do once
Okay.
completed my journey.
Okay. Okay. Now, because I know, now you finished, you graduated, correct?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay, and I know. Okay, and you said you had. I know you have a diet regimen that you go, like. How often do you go to the gym?
Um, Originally, I was going to the gym anywhere between 5 to 7 days a week. Now I'm going between 3 to 6 days a week. I don't go
Three
quite
to
as
six days.
often um,
Wow.
because of some things, but I'm picking back up. But yeah, I started in the beginning. I wasn't going to the gym. My
Mm.
In the beginning, I was doing at home workouts. I was doing like dance aerobics. I started swimming. I learned how to swim. And the swimming, my friend and I would be out there 2 to 3 hours swimming, learning to swim, practicing. That was my exercise routine. I did not necessarily have, like the basic, okay, go to the gym, in the beginning, because one, I was, I had anxiety. I didn't want to go to the gym
Mm.
around people. And so I found
Was that
other
now? Was
ways.
that like a self conscious thing going on, or
Yes,
what?
it
Were
was.
you
I've always been that type of person who did not like a lot of crowd. So I did never,
okay?
even when I was younger and I was smaller or whatever, I
Right.
never felt comfortable working out in front of people.
Okay.
So
Okay.
going to the pool, and that started originally because I had a ankle injury, and so I could barely walk. I was in pain. So my orthopedic doctor told me to start taking water aerobics. Well, I didn't know how to swim, and I was afraid of water. So
Okay. Yeah, but
that
it's not deep,
triggered.
is it? I mean, that's like just
No,
weights.
but I had an irrational fear of water.
Okay.
And so when I went, I was in 3 feet and I was scared. So
Wow. Okay.
um, by me going, I felt how much better I felt while I was working out. I decided to take swimming lessons for two reasons. One, it would help with my workout routine, my exercise, and two, it allowed me to get over fears that I had. And so once I learned to swim, that became mainly my sole source of exercise up until maybe for about a year, year and a half.
Now, Michelle, did you have any type of childhood trauma with water? Is there like a phobia that you had that
No, I
may
think
have
the
caused?
phobia came because my mom had a phobia. And so I think that was
Mhm.
passed down because I remember growing up, whenever, they would give free swimming lessons, and my dad would say, maybe we can let them go to swim lessons. And my mom was very afraid of water. I don't know, maybe she had a childhood trauma, I'm not sure, but I
Right.
think that fear kind of passed over to us or to me. So I
Okay.
never was comfortable around water. It was to the point too, and maybe because I had vertigo, that
Mm.
whenever I was around water, we have a state park here, and I would go there and we'd look at the water, and I would get dizzy. I would get seasick. So that
Wow.
made,
Okay. Just by
yeah,
looking at it.
just by looking at the water.
Wow.
So
Okay. Oh,
I later found out it was kind of like allergy related because my equilibrium would be thrown off. So that in itself kind of gave me a fear of water, even as an adult, because I would anytime I was near water and I would look at water, I would get dizzy. So
Okay.
learning to swim before an adult, nah, that wasn't happening.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you're dealing with okay the water aerobics. You go into the gym now.
I
Just
didn't
some of
start
the
going to the gym and started toning and trying to build muscle until last year.
okay. Okay.
So
Now
my
let me ask you this question because there's always a and I don't even know why. I don't know if it's some type of stigma with women and lifting weights because I've
Mhm.
always admired when women lift weights. I think that's a good thing. It enhances your exercise. But I mean, what
Yeah.
would your I mean, did you ever have any hang up about lifting weights as a woman, or has that?
One, I didn't like I said, I didn't want to go to the gym. Two, I was under the impression or the miss I was not educated enough, and I was thinking that I would become bulky, like masculine, and I
Right,
wouldn't be as feminine. Um,
right,
so
yeah. Biggest
that kind of
misconception.
made me kind of hesitant about weight because even in the beginning, like on my weight loss journey, I have a nutritionist under doctor's care, so they would guide me, and they was like, "Well, you need to do some." Now I would do little light hand weights, and
Right.
I didn't have any issue with that, but I was like, if I go to a gym and start to lift a little heavier, that I was going to get bulky and not toned. I didn't know there was a process. Like if I want
Yeah.
to be a bodybuilder, there was more of a process to make me bulky. I didn't understand that.
Right, right. And that's okay,
Yeah.
Michelle, because a lot of women don't understand that. A
No.
lot of
See,
women
I
think you're gonna lift weights and then just get these big muscles out. No, it don't work
right,
like that.
right.
No.
And that was one of my fears. I'm
And
like,
I don't mean to laugh, but yeah, that's
yeah, because a lot of women felt like me, and that's where I got it
yeah,
from. A lot of women was like, "You start lifting weights, you're gonna start looking like a guy." And I'm like, "Look, I like my girly figure. I like my curves. I want to
right,
keep them. I didn't mind being toned, but my process was you had to do little light stuff, to be.
right.
But if I started to go to the gym and start lifting 50, 60 pounds or whatever, that I was
Hmm.
going to bulk up like the bodybuilding women that you
No,
see on 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 TV, and that wasn't the
no.
case.
No, a lot of them, and I hate putting their secret out there like that, but a lot of men and women that bulk up like that are on a cycle. They do cycles of steroids. So no, and then uh
It takes a long time.
it takes a long time.
I have a niece now. Well, I won't say a long time, but longer than people think. She started off like me, just going to the gym, doing lifting, and because she's naturally muscular, she started to kind of bulk up a little bit. She
Hmm.
didn't care. She wasn't trying to bodybuild, but then she started getting into bodybuilding, and
Right, right.
it was all about her diet, her routine changed. So she started to bulk up. Whereas me, I don't want to bulk up. So I want to tone. So my routine is different. Our trainers are different. They tell us different things to do, in order
Yeah.
to fit our bodies.
Well, there's a whole not trying to put nobody's business out there like that, Michelle, but there's a whole different world when you get into bodybuilding. There's a
Yeah,
whole different
it is.
world,
It is.
and let's just say
And you
it's
have
real hush hush.
Yeah, and you have different extremes because I didn't realize that, and I still don't know everything, but just talking to her because I was thinking about getting into bodybuilding for 50 plus, but I want to do
Uh-huh.
the natural because you have the natural body
That's
for the
right.
bodybuilders, and then you have like I call it like the extreme, and those
Right.
I can't say everybody's on steroids because I'm that's not what I'll do, but a lot of
Well,
them
when I
do
say
other
well,
things.
well, when I say steroids, meaning you don't even have to work out a lot. Once you start shooting up, your muscles
Yeah,
just boom.
right,
That's yeah, a
right,
lot of
yeah,
so that's a lot of the misnomers that I mean, yeah, you got some that'll lift weights, but for the most part, they rely on the steroid to, inflate the muscle. But if you just, like I said, no steroids,
yeah.
natural bodybuilder working out, you're gonna have a just a regular normal physique. You'll have little definitions, but and I always like to compare two people in life. Uh, your natural bodybuilder like Bruce Lee, and then your steroid user like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Big difference.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee was lean and he was cut. He wasn't bulky, but he lifted a lot of weights. But
And
and
and I've learned through my trainer too, um, the different types of workouts that I can do to just tone as to working out to bulk.
hmm
I will have to eat more, which is almost impossible for me, so that I can
right,
put on weight. And then he gave me a whole routine that would make me bulk up more if that was my choice. But chose to um, opt out after some things happened. I opt out. I decided not to try to body build right now and just tone.
okay,
Just you know, like I said, I like where I am now. I mean, there's a little tweaks if I go by body wise that I would like to do,
okay,
but I can do it with the minimum without having to do a whole bunch of lifting and all that stuff like that.
okay. Now I know you had some gym pictures. I know you didn't share those with
It's
us.
some in there.
You mind if we see some of those? Because I wanted to, yeah, because
Okay, let's see if
yeah,
I can pull it back up. Let's see.
okay, okay.
Um,
Yeah. Shout out
it's
to Deacons of Defense, Twin Pyramid, Free Spirit. Hey, y'all, hit that like button and share. We're Fitness Fridays. Fitness Fridays. New segment. New
I
segment.
don't think it's not letting me pull it up for some
We
reason.
got one. Look like one there. Okay.
Okay, there it goes.
All right.
I have to go through that because I got them mixed in. Okay, that was one gym picture.
Okay.
That was after I started the process. I kind of at this point I'm no longer at 143. I'm no longer at my lowest weight because I started working out. And when I
Right.
started working out and started to become more defined and more toned, my weight and body changed. And I
Right.
like the change.
Right.
But
Right.
that's what we're, go and do my little squats.
So that'd be more your, that's more your ideal weight.
My ideal weight, and even according to medicine, is anywhere between like 145 and one about 161. But
Okay.
for me, I want to get anywhere between 150 and 151, 155. That's
Okay.
kind of like a sweet spot. I can go up or down, and it doesn't necessarily do a lot of changing,
Okay. Got you.
if that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Those were all of the gym pictures. I didn't get a chance to get a whole lot of them in, but yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, um, do you remember your first week of working out? Can you describe? Did you get sore? Did you get
My
I mean how
very first, I'm gonna say my very first few days at the gym because, like I
hmm
said, I was working out before. I
Oh, okay. So you're already working out
my
prior,
workouts was the swimming, the dance aerobics at home.
but isn't
But
that
I
more cardio than because cardio
Yeah,
and
but
weightlifting
it
are
was
two
still
different.
considered working out because my cardio work. I was doing more hit, so that included it was cardio, but it still had body weight exercises.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, the
so
reason
swimming,
I asked that because a lot of times when you body build, you're tearing down the muscle as opposed to cardio, you're just sweating and you're
yeah,
building
you're
your
doing getting
endurance.
your
So it's
heart
two
rate.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
my workouts included both. I was more cardio focused, but a lot of the workouts that I was doing used hand weights. I call them hand weights, the little
right.
home small hand weights, and a lot of body weight exercises. So I was still building, but not using like machines and dumbbells and all that stuff.
Got you. Okay.
So when
Okay.
I started going to the gym, I met up with a trainer for him to guide me in which direction to go. Because again, remember we talked about um, me being afraid of bulking. And so when I talked to him, he was like, no, we'll help you firm up and tone. Because remember, I lost 135 pounds. So there was some excess skin there that I
Right.
wanted to firm up. And so he showed me the machines to use, how much weight. And I thought I would be sore, but I did not. The first day, I did not. I was not sore. That first week, I can feel the effects of the workout, but I wasn't sore.
Okay.
And in
Hmm.
talking to my trainer, I was like, thought I was supposed to be sore. He said, just because you're not sore does not mean that your workout is not effective.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
And
That's true.
so I don't think I really did ever get sore until maybe a year in, and I kind of like took a break and then went right back in it full force and like up my weights. So I did get a little sore, but I was never like in pain sore. I would
Okay.
feel muscle fatigue. I guess that's the best way I know how to describe it, because I can feel like once I did my squats and my leg extensions and all that, once I left the gym and would sit down and get ready to try to get out the car, my legs will feel
Like a slight
um
burn. Like a
yeah,
slight
like a
burn sensation.
burn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the
Like a
best way.
burn
A
sensation. Yeah.
burn, but not
Hmm.
sore. So
Right. So
I rarely got sore from working out.
okay, that's good. That means
Yeah.
you weren't over loading your
Right.
muscles
Right,
to the
and
point
I
where
have a good trainer. He's a former bodybuilder,
okay.
and he comes free with my gym membership, and
Oh,
so he makes sure that we're doing the exercises, correctly and all that stuff. So I get a
okay.
good burn, that's for sure. Get a good
Right.
burn. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um. So take us back to okay. So I'm looking at this picture right here.
Yeah.
How how did you get to that point right there in the first picture?
That's a good question. There were a number of things going on. I was call myself what I know as healthy living. I was working out.
Uh huh.
Um, I call myself being vegetarian, all the good stuff at that point.
Wait a
Um,
minute here. I got to stop you right there.
yeah,
Vegetarian. So you're
I was
dealing with animal
vegetarian.
products.
Let me finish telling you how I was vegetarian. But what
You
was
know the
happening?
rules here, Michelle. You know the rules.
Let me finish telling
Okay,
you,
go ahead. Go ahead. You know I'm messing. Okay, go ahead.
because in the beginning when I first became vegetarian, boom,
Mm-hmm.
I lost weight, I felt better, all that.
Mm-hmm.
But then the issue came with, I stopped being whole food vegetarian, and I was buying a lot of the processed stuff. Um, then I wasn't doing Beyond Burgers, but stuff like Beyond Burgers,
Okay.
heck, anything. If I wanted Oreos, it's vegan. I mean, yeah, that kind of
Oh
thing.
Lord,
And
no.
I was eating a lot of, for my body, because at the time I was going through other physical things, eating a lot of the wrong fruits, a lot of sugars and different things like that
Wait, hold on, hold on. You said the wrong fruits.
for my body that I was going through at the time. I was eating high sugar fruits, like a lot of citrus, and that wasn't working for my body at that time. And even now, though, and this is another thing, certain things that work for certain people does not always work for others. Um, at the time I was going through, and they never really figured out everything as to why I started gaining weight. They checked my thyroid. Of course, I wasn't eating great. Like I said, I was
Did
eating
you keep a
Oreos.
log? Well, I gotta ask you a question. Did you keep a log of what you were eating?
Yes, I did. That was my requirement.
Okay. And did it require? I mean, so you say you say vegetarian. So you're talking
Yeah.
about a lot of animal products.
I was not eating animal products. I wouldn't say that I was all the way vegan, because I
Hmm.
wasn't all the way vegan, but I was more vegan than I was vegetarian. But because
Okay.
on occasion, if I go somewhere, they may have something in like cheese or whatever when I eat out or at church or whatever. So I was strict about saying vegetarian, because I did eat and some stuff that come from animals. But for the
Mm.
most part, like I said, I was doing very well, and I had dropped like 60 pounds when I first became even vegetarian, not just vegan, but when I first became vegetarian. But then all these commercial products, all these
Mm-hmm.
um, processed foods. It was
Mm-hmm.
convenient because when I first went, I had to make if I wanted some type of veggie burger, I had to make it. Well, then I
Right.
start buying it. So then all the chemicals, all the other stuff. There's nothing wrong with those things on occasion, but when I became lazy and started wanting to buy pre-made stuff, it just
Mm-hmm.
did not work with my body. Some
Got you.
people does some people do not have problems with that, but for me, I did,
Right. Right.
and it wrecked my body. Like I said,
So now you know, as of right now, what list of foods to go towards, what works for you and what doesn't work for you.
pretty much. I'm still learning this for me, and being a 52-year-old woman, things
Mm-hmm.
that worked for me that I could eat before. Now that I'm 50 plus, a lot of those things doesn't work again. So now it's a for me, it will always be a lifelong journey and a lifelong learning process.
Okay. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I can honestly, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's, I think that's
Because
goes
your
for everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you
and
have to. This is a
women more,
trial.
yeah, women more so because our hormones play such a big role in how we even metabolize foods. Certain
Mm,
things you can eat at certain times, and like I said, because I'm under medical care and all that stuff, I remember certain things I had gotten where I couldn't eat, but certain times I can eat them and not get sick or whatever, and it was
hmm.
because of the hormone fluctuations.
Okay.
And so I had to learn all of that stuff. And like I said, now I'm 52. I'm having to relearn some of the eating things. I definitely know, and I know people say, "Well, there's no bad foods." No, there are not necessarily any bad foods.
Oh, who said that?
I mean, that's the medical term. They were like, "There's no bad foods." You just have
Huh?
to know what works for you. Yeah.
Oh,
So, for
they told.
instance,
Oh
how you have
goodness.
all these um I won't necessarily say they fad diets, but like keto, this and this. And
Oh gosh.
so, um,
Tell us about it.
and so, doing a lot of things. So people say, well, just completely cut out carbs. And so,
What?
yeah, but I can say this:
See my face here, right? I'm like,
I'm not
what?
I'm
Okay.
not on keto, but for me, I do have to limit my carbs because my body does not process them well. So my lifestyle now, and when my nutritionist first suggested it, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. It's high
Hmm.
protein, low carb, moderate fat. So whether you choose to be
High
vegetarian,
protein. High protein.
low carbs,
Low carbs.
moderate fat,
Moderate fats. So it's low carbs, moderate fats.
yeah.
Um,
So it
and that's
doesn't
what.
matter your sources of protein. It can be vegan, vegetarian, whatever. Um, it doesn't matter your lifestyle. It's just a matter of how you incorporate, the certain things. Like for instance,
But doesn't your body take in only a certain amount of protein and then just starts wasting away the other excess proteins?
it's just like anything else. When you do protein, it only absorbs so much at one sitting.
Hmm.
So, um, for instance, you can drink a protein shake or whatever. I'm just saying a protein shake, or eat a piece of
Hmm.
chicken, whatever your protein source is, and you can absorb up to 30 grams at that moment. Any
Okay.
much more than that, and I have to do my research again because it's been a minute, so I don't remember the exact number.
Hmm.
But anything more than that in that first meal, some of it will be stored. That's why exercise is important. Diet is 80% of lifestyle.
No,
So
that's true.
exercise and movement. Mhm.
Now let me ask you this. So the before and after pictures,
Mhm.
were you? I mean, obviously, I'm asking this to get clarity. So you weren't on the same regimen, the calorie
No.
counting and all that. So
No.
oh, you
I,
just
it,
okay,
it's as different as night and day.
okay.
And for most people who would ask me, it was like, well, are you still vegetarian? No, I'm not. I
Mm-hmm.
eat meat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I try not to eat like chicken and different things because um the amount of food I would have to eat, my
Mm-hmm.
stomach does not allow me to eat a lot of stuff. So it's easier for
Right.
me to eat like nuts and you know,
So you can
mac
eat
and cheese.
nuts. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I eat almost everything.
Okay.
I limit my legumes because of the um carb count. So I have to figure out which ones have higher fiber and carbs. So balance out my net carbs. Certain breads now they make, because I guess everybody's on the keto low carb thing. They do still make like low carb breads and different things. So I kind of have to,
Right.
or I make my own using almond flour and coconut flour, different things
Mm-hmm.
to make what I was traditionally used to.
Okay.
So to make sure, if I eat a lot of carbs and not fruit, I mean certain fruits like berries and all that, I can do good with strawberries, raspberries, different things.
Mm-hmm.
But if I eat stuff like citrus, because it's, I guess it's a higher carb count and not the fiber doesn't balance out enough, it affects me if I do a lot. I
So
may
you're
get a little
saying
bit.
citrus has a low fiber count? Is that what I'm understanding?
For me, it's the carb count is higher. The carb and sugar count does is
Mm-hmm.
the sugar content is the fiber content in the citrus does
Mm-hmm.
not how would I say, counteract, I guess you can say, for lack of a better word, the sugar
Okay.
content.
Okay. Okay.
And like I said, remember, this is my journey and my record, what my doctor found out about me and what
Now
worked.
let me yeah, now let me ask you a question. Have you heard of the it's a book based on blood type diets? Have you heard of
I've
that?
heard of it, but I've never tried it or never, as far as I know of, I never
You never
practiced any of
read
that.
it,
No.
but you have read it though, right?
I have read something about it, but never in detail because I know they were saying like certain blood types shouldn't eat this, this, and this.
Right.
So, and another thing about me as being a woman, um, in my early 20s, I was diagnosed with polycystic ovaries, which is another thing that
We did a show on that yesterday. Yeah, we did a.
yeah, which regulate
Mhm.
affect hormones and all that. So all those things that maybe a normal person can eat, it does not work as well with me, if that makes sense. So everybody's journey is different.
Oh, now that's interesting. Do they know what caused the fibroid cysts?
It's not fibroids, it's polycystic ovaries.
Oh,
So it's
polycystic
cyst
ovaries.
on
Oh,
your
okay. So
ovary.
these are okay. I'm sorry. So these are two different things I'm
Yeah, they're
talking
different
about.
things, but
Okay.
yeah, they're different things in most women who have polycystic ovaries. It's kind of like a new, it's not a new thing, but I think they're finding out more about it
Mm-hmm.
because when I was first diagnosed, every so often I had to have surgery to remove cysts from my ovaries.
Right. Yeah.
But now they're finding out it's a hormone thing, and most women who have polycystic ovaries have a tendency to have high blood pressure, weight
Right.
gain, diabetes or pre-diabetes, all those things that I was fighting against for so long, and then I realized the way I eat helps
Mm-hmm.
counteract all those things too.
Mm. Well, this is very interesting, Michelle, because you know the body craves glycogen, which is in your carbs, and so that's why I was listening to you. Uh, and you know that's why we have a natural draw towards bright colors, like like strawberries, real bright colors, and that's why they market bright colors to kids and sell processed sugars and candies because we're drawn to that. So I was just wondering, uh, do you have these cravings? Well, the scientific term is glycogen, but do you have craving for carbs all the time, or?
Um, I can. What happens when I do eat the way I'm supposed to? High carb. I mean, excuse me, high protein, low carbs, moderate fats. I do
Hmm.
not crave carbs because I don't go completely carb free. you get your carbs in your vegetables, you get your carbs, but it's a healthier carb. Now, when I go to,
Oh, healthier carb.
yeah,
So you're
I
saying
mean, when you
fruits?
eat green, everything except meat has carbs. So when you eat your
Okay.
vegetables, they are low carb, high fiber. So for me, I'm okay. I'm not, most people, unless they just on the carnivore diet, you have people that just eat meat, then
Right.
you're always going to have some carbs, but the point is to be as low on carbs as possible. As in that, and that means the I call quote unquote the unhealthy carbs, the more the processed foods. But yeah, I do have carbs. I don't crave carbs when I'm eating right. I crave carbs when I start to maybe if I eat something that has sugar in it and I didn't know, like processed sugar. Then I will actually have
Right.
cravings. And sometimes I guess it's just a thing that a person will have some cravings, but I rarely, like I said, now if I'm not eating right, I will crave carbs. But if I'm eating according to plan, I rarely have cravings.
So what you're saying is that if you eat a processed sugar, then it throws your body off to crave these
It does
carbs.
for me. Yeah, it does. And I will
Now,
crave sugar.
you said something interesting that I do want to address. You said that your vegetables and fruits that have fiber, because fiber and your carbs, they balance each other out. Fiber is like the broom
That
inside
clean
your
up.
body, it sweeps
Yeah.
out. So let's back this up, Michelle. We got to
Mhm.
back this up. So you're saying if you eat carbs from fruits and vegetables, no processed foods, that you don't get this imbalance. Is that what you're saying?
Certain fruits will give me an imbalance.
Okay, you like
High
citrus.
sugar fruits, citrus is one.
Okay,
I'm trying to think of something else that's higher in sugar. Yeah, it will give me an imbalance, and I can feel
okay.
it.
What
Um,
about apples? Because I know apples have a nice.
Apples is like that thing in the middle for me. So I don't eat apples often. I rarely eat apples because it is
Okay.
a little bit higher on the glycemic index. Um,
Oh, grapes. I know the grapes are very high in sugar.
oh, can't no grapes, no. Mm-mm.
Got you. Okay.
And
Okay.
another thing that I was doing when I was vegan and gaining all the weight is I was doing a lot of juicing. And what I was doing was juicing a lot of fruit, which of
Hmm.
course we know there's nothing wrong with fruit. But when we juice
They take
and
the pulp out
I was taking
and the
all the
fiber.
fiber out, so I was getting straight sugar to my system, and I was wondering why I felt
Right.
crappy, and that's what it was. Now, when I did my green juices and balanced it out, I was okay. It was just when
Right.
I was doing straight juice. So now I do not do any type of just plain juice.
Okay. I'm okay. So you're saying the juicing. I'm trying to process all
It's
this
a lot.
because yeah, because actually, because I do the complete opposite of what you're doing.
Mhm.
But I do whole food plants. You
Mhm.
know, I don't do any meat. I don't do any animal
Right.
product simply because how it affects me is because, like I said, I'm 40, pushing 50, but
Yeah.
uh, the high from what I've learned, the leucine levels in meat, dairy, and eggs start to push uh, your body to go towards the cancers, the high blood pressure, basically all the top 10 killers of diet are all meat, dairy, and egg related. So
Mm.
I'm just listening to you,
Yeah.
and I agree with the juices.
I,
Like juices should never be separated from
yeah.
their fiber content. Never. We
Right.
should eat the fruit as is because it
Yeah.
all works together.
Natural. Yeah.
But what I'm a little perturbed about right now is the now I understand, the sugars, like I said, like I can understand the grapes. And my body don't do well with like oranges,
Yeah.
you know, even though I love lemonade, you know, but um I guess what I'm asking is, when you do the, I guess it just my concern are the leucine levels. Because I mean, I don't know if you watched the show yesterday. We talked about how the fibroid cysts.
Hmm.
The women who have done they've done the studies, and most of the women, white and black, lack beta carotene. They lack vitamin C. They lacked B12, which B12 comes from duckweed. But what I'm saying is that based on what they were saying, it seemed like they had a low fruits and veggie diet
And maybe
causing that. So,
it's the thing is, from my learning and my experience, it takes a balanced diet, whether you're a meat
mhm,
eater or not. Maybe those people that they were eating meat, but they weren't eating their fruits and vegetables, or they weren't, even if they
right.
don't do fruits, all of those things come from vegetables. So evidently, it has to be balanced. Even if I was doing plant based and I was getting protein, you know what I'm saying? It
Hmm.
still has to be a balance. What we call everything has to be balanced.
Right.
And the crazy thing is, remember I said in the beginning I was vegetarian, vegan, whichever term you want to use at different points, and my blood
Hmm.
pressure was sky high. I was
Right.
on 3 blood pressure pills. I mentioned that earlier. It wasn't until I balanced everything, and yes, I did include meat because, like I said, because the way my stomach is now, I can't eat a bulk of stuff at one time. So my protein levels were low. So I incorporated like chicken and stuff. And once
Hmm.
I balanced my protein, didn't do a whole lot of carbs and sugar, and it made sure I had the healthy fats. I was off of blood pressure medicine.
Right. Right.
So it's
Okay.
like, yeah, if we can go, I think the issue is even vegetarian and vegan stuff now is not all whole base. Everything has been messed with.
Well,
Everything has been
I'm glad you
modified.
mentioned that, right? Because
Yeah,
I've always promoted whole food plant
yeah.
based diet.
And that's the
I don't
thing,
promote the
right?
Oreos. I don't promote
And
the
see, yeah, a lot of times when, like I said, at first when I did when I was vegan, everything was plant based, whole food. I
right.
made everything. I bought everything, and when it was available organic, I used organic, and things were working for me. I dropped 60 pounds. My blood
Okay.
pressure was better. But then when I
Well, that's why
started to,
I asked too,
yeah,
because I think a lot of people, and I'm not saying you're doing this, Michelle, but what I'm saying is a lot of people go into the vegan lifestyle or diet looking for weight loss. And that's why I
yeah,
say, even what you're doing now, what is your ideal weight? Because if you're eating healthy like you're supposed to do, your body's going to go to the ideal weight, not to the skinny model in Hollywood or
yeah.
Beyonce. It's going to go to your desired weight, like where
And,
you're supposed to be. And I think a lot of people make the mistake of, I want to look like Beyonce
mm-mm.
and try to, what I'm saying, and try to obtain that.
Yeah,
But no, if
yeah,
you're eating
yeah.
healthy and what you're supposed to eat is going to go where your desired weight is supposed to be. That's
And
why
see, yeah.
I looked at some of your pictures where you said it was your skinniest, and it still didn't, like when you started picking up a little bit more weight, you looked more like
Yeah,
like like that looked more like you than. Okay,
and
so let me, yeah,
yeah,
I'm gonna show the picture. Like
yeah.
this
The
one
thing
on the
is,
right, that doesn't look like you. That doesn't look like you on the left, but that don't look like you on the right either.
yeah, and the thing is, at that particular point, I was not trying to lose weight. My body was doing what it does on its own, and it dropped down that low because I was eating better and exercising, but I wasn't weight training. I was doing
Oh, okay.
cardio. I was doing, like I said before, the body weight stuff, the swimming. So I was toned, but I was more um, skinny, I guess, for the
Hmm.
lack of a better word, because at that time I wasn't weight training, all those things. Everything I can be actually at one point I was smaller than I was on that picture, but I looked different because the way my body was, the way I was taking care of my body. If I was running more or if I was lifting weights, I can be the exact same size, but I can look completely different based on my muscle tone, based on
Right.
what I'm doing. You know what I'm
Right.
For instance, I remember I was one, I think like 150 or something.
Okay.
And within 2 weeks I wasn't eating properly. Had more carbs and different things that I had cut out of my diet. I
Right.
reintroduced it. The scale was still saying the same thing, but my dress was a lot tighter
Right.
because I was holding fluid, one, different things. So diet does play a big role in how you look as well as
Absolutely.
you're working
Absolutely.
out.
Right.
The bloat, 150, I was bloated because I was eating a whole lot of things that I shouldn't have been eating for my body.
Well, and there we go back to the cravings again. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, now this is just for me
Mhm.
because I do a lot of fruits, different types of fruits,
Mhm.
and you know, based on how you eat and what you eat, you can actually neutralize your taste buds
Yeah, exactly.
by eating like excess salts, excess sugars, especially sugars. Sugars,
Sugar is
and
terrible.
why a lot of children don't like to eat fruits is because they start off eating Skittles, Starbursts, and
Yeah.
then you try to give them an apple, they go, oh, that's nasty. You know what I'm saying? They're
Yeah.
not going to really
Yeah.
because they're not tasting the natural sugars.
Yeah.
Now, I agree with the sugars part, the processed sugar, because the processed sugar, fruit sugars are not the same. Our
They are
tongue
not. They are
tells it
not the
all. Right. So, what I'm trying to convey, Michelle, is that uh, whole food, plant based, I mean, well, whole foods, yeah, we should always strive for whole foods. But what I'm
same.
saying is that we shouldn't go vegan, eat vegan junk food, and just say no. What I'm saying? That's not really a good representation
Yeah.
of,
Yeah. And see, that's the thing I think what's
because
happening
I'm
now.
against I'm against vegan junk food. You know that. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
a I'm
know.
not a
I
fan
know.
of I'm not a fan of desserts. I'm not a fan of
Yeah.
processed sugars. It's just not. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what happens is a lot of people hear the title vegan and they automatically assumed, okay, healthy. And I think back in the day, especially when I first started being vegan, it was healthier, as far as
Hmm.
having the ability to have more whole foods. Because if I wanted, like I said before, if I wanted a burger, I had to make my own black bean burger or
Right.
whatever. And if I wanted a healthy quote unquote dessert, then I had to make it myself. And it wasn't all this processed stuff. It wasn't, and I didn't use sugar even then. But
Okay.
then I got lazy, and everybody was like, okay, they start manufacturing stuff that you can get. And
Right.
so I kind of lost sight on the, okay, I'm eating vegan for health reason wise, and kind of I was still kind of doing it, but then it was, I'm like,
Let
okay,
me ask you a question, Michelle. Were you doing it to try to lose weight?
no, I
Was
was
that
not.
true?
I
Oh,
never,
you
when I went
just
vegan, it was the total opposite. When I went vegan, it was because I was trying to fix the blood pressure that never gotten fixed. Well, I won't say never got fixed. It was better in the beginning when I was doing whole foods. When I started eating the
right.
processed foods, it got worse, and I went from
Stop right
one
there.
pill to three.
Stop right
Yeah,
there. So, why did you go from vegan Whole Foods to the vegan processed foods? What
like I
happened?
told you, convenience. Like most people do anything. Most people stop at fast food. Even if you're not vegan, for instance, it's
Hmm.
different cooking food at home and going to McDonald's. I can
Right.
be vegan and decide I want to get, French fries or whatever from a fast
Right.
food.
Which
It's
has a lot
it's
of salt.
convenient.
Right. Which has a
A
lot
lot
of
of
salt.
salt, a lot of
Hmm.
everything. All
Right.
this stuff has starches, corn starches, or whatever. You're not eating just a plain potato. At home,
Right.
I
Absolutely.
cut up
Right.
a potato and stick it in your own grease or whatever, however you
Right.
want to cook it or bake it.
Right.
But when you're getting these things, if you look at the ingredients, you see there's starch added, there's this added. It's a lot of
Right.
things
It's a
added.
lot of ingredients, right, to the bag
Exactly.
of French fries.
Exactly.
Yeah, a
So
lot of
that's why
ingredients.
when I talk to people, I don't criticize if they're vegan, vegetarian, or carnivores. I just want to, if they ask me what I've learned, I just tell
Hmm.
them to learn to eat a balanced, healthy diet,
Right.
whatever that looks like. You know, try to eliminate processed food. We may not eliminate all processed foods because sometimes we might want to, some fries or whatever, or you stuck out and you just want to quick something.
Hmm.
But if you learn to eat healthy and balance everything 80% of the time, then you're okay. And like I said, another thing, a lot of times we beat ourselves up, especially if we're trying to lose weight. Um when I started losing weight, I went purposely to start losing weight. But
Right.
in the
Right. Right.
process, I learned how to heal myself and I learned how to eat. And I did that with not just by myself. I had a team. I had a team of good doctors. I had a team of
Hmm.
good nutritionists. And so I was able to learn in the process. And while when I did that, I actually learned how to eat for me, for my body.
Hmm.
And so far, for the most part, I hadn't had many issues.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So your blood pressure's down.
My blood pressure recently started going back up, and they're thinking it's stress. I found out, my brother was sick or whatever, some
Right. Right.
high stress level, and so they thinking that may be it. But for the most part, and it's not even real high like it was. It's
Okay.
where I can manage it if I get back on track with my working out, trying to regulate my stress. That's another good thing about working out.
Now, are you veering off to the processed foods again, there, Michelle?
Um, no, not so, no, not as I'm trying to think. Have I had any
So
process?
it's all stress. There's no diet related.
But mainly, it appears to be stress and no diet changes because I'm pretty much the same. As far as processed stuff, I rarely buy anything processed. Everything is about the same, other than the stress and the age, because that's been when I
Okay.
first started. It's been 5 years, so the hormone thing, going through menopause, those are a few things. I did too limit. I focused more on strength training, whereas before I was able to. I had started running. I ran a 5K, a
Right. Right.
10K, all
Yeah.
those kind of things, and so maybe I need to figure out how to incorporate that type of stuff back in. But for the most part, everything is pretty much the same.
Now it's funny that you mentioned carbs
Mhm.
because most athletes, when they're exercising,
Mhm.
especially when they're running. I
Mhm.
mean, all exercise, you tend to crave more carbs. So how does that work for you for somebody who tries to keep down the carb level?
Remember, I was high protein, high moderate fats, low carbs. So the protein and the fats
Hmm.
did kind of balance that out, because in fact, when I was running more, I craved um, carbs less.
You crave
Um,
carbs less.
I
Okay.
craved carbs less. I guess because I was still eating healthy carbs. I was still eating my greens and all that stuff. But I did not increase my carb intake. None of that.
So would you say with the greens you had so you had a normal intake of carbs with the greens?
I guess so. I'm assuming so. I didn't change anything as far as I didn't up anything other than my calories. I up my calories when I'm doing a lot of running. If I'm
No,
doing
of
a
course. Yeah, of
drive,
course. Yeah.
yeah,
Anytime
I
you
will
work
up
out, you
my
increase the calories.
calories. But as far as I didn't change anything as far as my carbs at all. I ate my same, broccoli, my green beans, my asparagus, my um
So, because I
broccoli.
know we talked about, and I know a lot of people, you can't really count vegetables as far as like, okay, I this many. You just eat the vegetables, correct? Just eat the vegetables till you
No,
get
I
satiated.
because of my health and my journey, I do measure most of my stuff.
So, how do you
So
measure vegetables?
I weigh it out. So I know
Oh, okay, okay, you weigh it
two
out.
cups
Okay,
of spinach is like 20 calories and whatever. I can't recite everything at the moment on the spot.
Okay.
But for
Okay.
instance, 2 cups of spinach is like, I think it's like maybe 20 calories, and it'll break down how much fiber and all that stuff. So I track everything I
Mm.
eat. And I do that more for not so much for weight loss, but because that is part of the journey. But I
Well,
do
Michelle,
that
you got
more
to do a
so.
video on that because a lot of people don't really measure
I know.
vegetables. So that's
And I
very
think
interesting.
I
This
think
is the
when I
first
was
time I'm hearing this.
Yeah, I think when I was vegan, I think
Hmm.
that was another thing. I was just eating because I'm like, oh, it's healthy. But people, and you have to eat a lot, don't get me wrong,
Right.
to, have too much of vegetables, but you're still gonna have too much of a good thing if you're not eating it right or whatever. Like I said, once I got away from the whole foods and started getting into
Well, the
other
way
things, I wasn't measuring as much or whatever. Mhm.
well the way a lot of people do it is because the greens don't come with the like all the different,
Yeah. Yeah.
like you said, because you're measuring, and this is new to me.
Yeah.
A lot of people just eat, especially athletes, eat vegetables until they're satiated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing measuring. So where did you get the idea to measure the vegetables?
I've always, right before my weight loss journey, I don't remember where I started. I remember having, I think, to track food. I don't remember it. I had been doing it for a while. But
Right,
then,
but where? I mean, how do you learn how to say, okay, well, I need this amount of
okay, this
spinach,
is
this amount
this.
of.
I use a tool to help me monitor where I am at the time. So my tool that I use, I like to use my Fitness Pal. So once you put
So
in
there's an
your
app. There's an app to measure the
Yeah, it's the
vegetables.
app. It's the app
Okay.
that I use. You can always look it up, but for me, it's easier to just use an app. So I use my Fitness
Okay.
Pal, and go in and put in my information, my weight. You can say if you want to lose weight, if you want to gain weight, whatever, and then
Hmm.
it'll give you a suggestion of how much of fiber you should have, how many carbs you should have. I have to
Hmm.
adjust my carbs because for me, I have to be on the lower carb than what they recommend. And then whenever I eat something, I'll go in and put it in. Like for breakfast, like let's say I had eggs.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So the app measures based on how many cups of spinach
Yeah, it'll tell
carbs,
you.
how
Right,
many carbs you're taking in. Oh,
right.
okay,
So
interesting,
if I
interesting.
put in like for instance this morning I had eggs and I had a cup of spinach.
Hmm.
So when I put it in, it automatically tells me how much how many carbs, how much fiber, how many protein, how much vitamin K, how much. Most of the vitamins are listed, and it tell you how much is in 1 cup of spinach or whatever you're eating. So
Okay.
it's easy to track. And then at the end, at all your meals, you can click on nutrition information, and it'll show you every all your new. So for instance, if I'm supposed to have 20 things of protein, it's more than
Hmm.
that, but as an example. And by the end of the night, I've only had 10, then I know, okay, before I go to bed, I need to eat at least 10 more grams of protein or 10 more things of fiber or whatever.
And this is based on day by day or hour by
Yeah, you
hour
can do
or
it
okay.
day by day. How I have it set up, you can it automatically show you can do 3 meals listed. You can
Hmm.
go in and add for it to track snacks as well. So every
Okay.
time you eat, it's easier to do it every time you eat, so you will not forget what you eat.
Okay.
Because for me, I would eat something and then try to track it a few hours later, and I may have forgotten that I had, you know, a piece of cheese or whatever, and so that would throw my numbers off, and I was wondering why, my weight wasn't changing or whatever my
Hmm.
body needed wasn't being corrected. So, and that was why. So now every time I sit down to eat, either right before I eat, I'll list what I fix in my plate, or either immediately after I eat, I'll go in and put my information, because for me, it is important for my health. Remember, I've
Right.
undone all these things that I had going on, and so I don't want to go back down that road again. So
Right.
I'm
Absolutely.
hyper vigilant on what I put in my mouth.
Right. Right. Well, you definitely have strict discipline. So that's something that we can all learn from you is the
Yeah.
discipline part. I may not agree with what you're eating though, but
I know
some greens,
everybody
beer,
has
and
their
eggs.
own thing about what people eat, and
Right.
this is what I tell them: do what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I'm not strict vegan right now is because of I can't eat a whole lot of
Carbs.
volume of food at a time without
Oh,
feeling
that
not
makes
feeling
sense.
good.
Okay, that makes
So
sense.
that's
Right, right, right.
yeah,
That
that's
makes
why I
sense.
said
Okay.
for me, because I have stomach issues, I can't do 5 and 6. I can only eat one cup of food at a time, or one, for
Right,
about one.
right.
So me, by the time I try to eat enough protein from my greens, I can't. So I would still be malnourished. So that's why I said
Oh,
I
got
do
you. Okay.
chicken or whatever, and I can't do soy. Now, if I was able to
No,
do
I can't do
soy,
so either.
right, totally allergic to soy. Some
I am
people say
too.
soy is good, some say soy is not good. But for me, because I have an allergy, my next best thing is some chicken or some turkey.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say everybody has to learn what works for them, because you have people who can't eat grains, who can't eat certain things. So as long as
Mm-hmm.
you know what you can eat and make it work, make it as healthy as you can.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. So yeah, I prefer if I want, I prefer to be at least vegetarian, but at the moment that's not an option for me.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not that I'm like, oh no, don't be vegan, or no, don't be vegetarian. That's not what I'm saying.
Got you. Got you. Right.
That's why I kept saying what works for me to
Got you.
emphasize.
No,
And
fair enough. I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, when you broke down everything, and especially, I mean, I do wholeheartedly agree with the discipline part. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Because a lot of people are not counting calories the way you're doing.
yeah,
That's not a very common in the U.S., as you know. But I
yeah,
mean, yeah, you've got athletes in the
yeah.
fitness world who do that, but for no, I mean, because I will say this: what you're
Hmm.
doing now, if you're able to count that, I mean, yeah, like I said, just I mean, like I said, I like the calorie counting part, but Michelle, we've reached the hour mark.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
did want
No,
to
this
say
is.
a few
Oh, go
things
ahead.
about
Yes.
um me getting started my health journey, and losing the weight. I'm gonna say this and then we can end. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's
Um,
fine. No, no, that's fine. That's fine. No,
I was
just yeah.
I was able to do things I never thought I could do because I had back injury, I had ankle injury. I never
Hmm.
thought I could run a 5K. I did a 5K, a 10K, and my next goal is to do a half a marathon. I was able to
Okay.
go skydiving. So just changing little things about your health can open up a whole world of excitement. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? I mean,
Mm.
people like, well, they think about just the medical part, the blood pressure, the kidney, the
Right.
diabetes, and all that. But no, you can live a more fulfilled life when you
Right.
take that health journey.
I will agree with you on that, Michelle, wholeheartedly. Yes, when you're fit, um, you can do a whole lot more activities.
Yeah,
And I mean, and let's just let the crowd know, people know. Shout out to everybody in the chat, share and like. So we are clear. You don't drink or smoke, none of that stuff,
no,
right?
no, 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 no. I don't
Okay.
drink. I don't smoke. I don't do anything other than eat food. So
Okay.
I don't
And
do any.
exercise.
Hmm?
And
And
exercise.
exercise, yeah.
Right. Right.
I don't do
Okay.
any of the
Okay.
extra stuff. I don't smoke anything. No cigarettes, uh no kind of nothing.
Well, that's
Even what they
good.
consider healthy, I don't smoke that either.
What do they consider healthy that you smoke?
A lot of them saying because weed have medicinal purposes and all that. Yeah, so
I mean, weed is cool if
that's
you
a
want
whole
to.
nother
Yeah,
subject
that's a
right
whole
there.
other
It's a whole
topic.
nother
Yeah, we're
subject
gonna have
right there.
to. Yeah,
We don't have time for that.
yeah, we definitely only got time
So
for
that's
that.
why I
Yeah,
emphasize that because sometimes you have
I
people.
got, I got somebody who's coming on for that. I don't know if you remember Dr. Uma. I'm gonna have her for Wellness Wednesdays.
Okay, I definitely
Yeah,
want to see her
yeah, I'm gonna
that.
bring her on because now you know how I felt about weed. However,
Yeah,
Um, I do agree with it when it comes to pain. I'd rather
yeah,
take,
me
what I'm
too.
saying? So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna let her explain that.
Yeah,
But,
I'm with
yeah.
you on that, and I learned that because of cancer patients.
Right.
Yeah,
So yeah, I am for the medicinal, but I
yeah,
think I've always said that I'm always for the medicinal. I'm just not for the recreational. Just
yeah. I
look,
don't agree with the recreation either.
yeah, because it is addictive.
I've never had that experience. I've never used any type of drug or
Mhm.
anything like that. So
Right,
I'm clean. I'm a virgin when it comes down to that part.
right. Okay, well, Michelle, thank you, and we're
Thank
gonna
you for
see
having me.
you. Oh yeah, and this is for anybody. If you know anybody else who has a health journey, and you can come back and because we can keep track of what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Fitness Friday, so we gonna talk about basically like what fitness regimen,
Okay.
the calorie counting and everything. So yeah, I'm definitely glad that you brought that to the table because I didn't even know about the weighing of the food. I just ate
Yeah.
uh, greens,
Mhm.
my vegetables because if it didn't have a label on it,
Yeah.
I would just eat it
Yeah.
until I was satiated. But like I said, but my regimen workout is, I guess, a little bit
Yeah.
different, kind of, sort of
Everybody,
the same, but yeah.
everybody's
So
journey is different.
yeah, because I believe it or not, I didn't start bulking up until I start. Well, but I was eating beans. So you mentioned
Yeah.
the beans with the carbs. The
Yeah.
beans is what gave me my. But see, it's funny I mentioned the beans because the two of the ingredients in steroids, right?
No, I did not.
Beans and potatoes. Those are the core ingredients in steroids.
Well, yeah, I knew the potatoes. I didn't know the beans.
Beans, yeah, beans play a big role. Yeah, yeah, it's one of the yeah. So yeah. So anyway, but Ben, that's why I always ask people, are they trying to lose weight? Because most of the times, eating right was going to take you to your ideal weight,
Right.
and that's why working out is important, like you said, because
Yeah.
you mold and shape your body as you see fit.
Yeah.
But okay, but yeah, and that's a whole nother topic I want to get into too. Like these women wanting to be skinny and all that stuff, like, and it's not their ideal weight. So
Yeah, but that's a whole nother thing too because
yeah,
that's what you're bombarded with. I fell in that category as well. So,
right.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, we got to watch out for that too.
yeah.
But yeah, well, so thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Give a shout out to the chat, y'all like and share, and we'll be now. Is this a good time for you, Michelle?
Um, a little
Now
bit earlier would be
okay,
better.
because okay, as you know, I had a power outage,
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah.
right? So that kind
And
of
this time
delayed
of the
me.
year, I mean, the time has to because the storms or whatever. But any
Yeah,
time
yeah.
in the afternoon is fine with me,
Okay,
especially on a Friday.
we'll probably be doing a little bit earlier. Like I said,
Okay.
I had the situation, as you know, with the power outage, and
Yeah.
they just cut back on the lights. So here we are, but we could have done this much sooner. But as you know, Georgia,
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
we got the most trees in any of the 50 states,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we have a lot of old trees, and
Yeah.
we have a lot of old power lines too. But that's a
Yeah.
whole nother
That's a
topic.
whole nother. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yes, yeah. So, all right, Michelle. Thank you,
Thank
and
you.
we'll be seeing you next Friday. How about 6:30?
I'll think so, but I'll verify, make sure I don't have
Okay,
any
okay.
issues, but
I'm
I'll
just throwing a
verify with you.
timeout. I'm
Yeah,
just throwing a
that
timeout.
sounds good right now.
Okay,
I'll verify with you.
right. And as long as my power don't go out, and if we agree to that, then yeah, we'll
Same
be right
here.
on time. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Bye. Peace.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Fitness Fridays. Tell me what y'all think, man. Did y'all enjoy it? Um, we'll have Michelle on, and hopefully we'll have more people come on and give their testimony. And um, interesting because we always don't agree with. I definitely don't agree with keto diets or any meat in the diet, but that's hey, if you have the discipline and if it's working for you, then let's talk about it on Fitness Fridays. All right, y'all. I will see y'all. Oh, Wellness Wednesdays. We're going to have Dr. Uma talking about marijuana as far as being a pain reliever. So let me confirm that. I haven't confirmed it, but I need to talk to Dr. Uma, and yeah, we need to get that set up for Wellness Wednesdays. Okay, so and Sunday. I'm sorry, Sunday. Me and Zanzi are having a debate on Roe versus Wade, the Supreme Court decision. So y'all be here for that. That's going to be 2 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. Okay. All right. I'm out. Peace.